Good morning, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and I used to have a handle on life, but then it broke. Today we're taking a look at a game called Definitely Not Fried Chicken, developed by Dope Games and published by Merge Games, selling for $25 and released in early access. Oh, and please don't be fooled by my current amount of playtime if that does happen to show up on the Steam store page. I lost internet and had to do the recording offline, so because of that it looks like Steam didn't record how long I actually played, which was around an hour and a half, I think. Now then, obviously, this game is probably a bit controversial, so let me go ahead and say that I do not support any kind of criminal smuggling activities of any kind. Hell, I don't support any crime of any type of anywhere for any reason. This is just a game. Now then, basically, in this game, you are building up your own drug trade business through legitimate fronts such as a laundromat or a fried chicken fast food restaurant. And that's pretty much it. The story is pretty laughable. You're hired by the KFC Colonel, and, only here he's called the Major. And he teaches you how to build up your business, and it's the start of the tutorial. Then he fires you, and you decide not to go into legitimate business, but instead become a criminal mastermind. And yeah, that's it. Pretty basic, pretty simple. So from that point on, you're on your own with minimal supervision, trying to become rich by selling drugs. So as always, we'll go into the pros and the cons of this game, but first, did you know that I have a new segment on my channel? Every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, I post a video glorifying and showcasing an older game of legendary status from some 20 years ago. I do this to spread the love of video games, to show you the awesome games I grew up on, and maybe get you to play them too, since they're definitely worth it. If you're interested to learn of a game you may have never seen before that's definitely awesome, or one you just may have forgotten about, I highly encourage you to join me on Fridays and check out what game I'm showcasing that week. Thanks! Now then, on to the positives of this game. I love the management aspect of this gameplay. It's not too complicated, but it's not too simple either. I mean, it's got enough detail and specifics to really feel like you're managing your own business without it being cluttered with too much information. For the most part, it's pretty simple and easy to understand that you won't be too lost. And the mechanics make sense. I mean, you plant the weed, harvest the weed, prepare the weed, box up the weed, and then you ship the weed. You can adjust your employees' schedules, give them break rooms, bathrooms, kitchens, and whatnot to take care of their needs. You can hire guards, janitors, engineers, and of course adjust their schedules too, but you can also give them gear that improves skills or abilities in their specific job. You can even click on a button that moves the camera to follow your delivery drivers, which I think is kind of cool. And you'll have rivals showing up to attack and destroy your business, so you're going to need guards, weapons, and traps to hold them back. Overall, its gameplay is quirky and kind of fun. Oh, and before I forget, you can also open up other businesses. I'm not too sure what their purpose is, but I'm guessing it's all to help give you funds, or maybe it's to help you launder the drugs. But these businesses are different and varied, which means new types of appliances to buy and customize, new types of employees to manage. I mean, it's literally like managing your own empire slowly, bit by bit, which with different skins for different businesses. So it's another really cool aspect of the gameplay. I love the pixelated graphics. It kind of takes the edge off of what it is you're actually doing. But it also works. These graphics give the developers what they need to add quality to the rest of the gameplay and the inner mechanics of the game. And it all looks really nice too. Despite being pixelated, it still has a lot of good color combinations, good contrast, and attention to detail. The sound is kind of a mixed bag for me. No voice acting, which honestly is fine, but its sound effects sound appropriate, even if a bit average at times. And also it can get kind of annoying listening to them chop over and over again. It really started to drain on my nerves very quickly. But its music wasn't that bad. For background music, in between the big events, it's not too shabby. It's in the background, but you still hear it. You know, it fits the theme of what you're doing, it sounds right, it makes you feel good, and it overall just makes the entire experience a bit more enjoyable. But that's pretty much the only positives that I can think about that I can say about the game, at least at the time of recording. So let's now look at the negatives, followed by my final thoughts. Also, if you're enjoying the video or finding it informative, please consider supporting my tiny channel. How? Like, comment, and subscribe. Costs you nothing, and it's just that easy. Okay, so the game is pretty darn broken. You go to make a room, and sometimes it just doesn't work, but the game doesn't recognize that it didn't work, so like in the tutorial, it continued on. Even though you didn't actually build the room and you can see it, the game thinks you did. So it now wants you to place furniture in the non-existent room, but you can't because there's no room, and you're now stuck. Time to start the whole tutorial over again, or maybe even start the whole game over again, because the way it saves is weird as well. The loading screen is terrifying. It froze 3 times on me and it freezes at least twice every single time I get to the loading screen. And it almost crashes on me every single time it freezes. Trying to get into the game is just as much of a gamble as trying to load a level in the game. I mean, just trying to start up the game, and I was having difficulties getting the darn thing to launch. Then I thought the game was broken, so I tried to restart my Steam, and only then did it decide to start running, but because I was restarting Steam, it closed it back down. I mean, this happened so many times before I could even get into the darn game, obviously putting me in a bad mood right off the bat. At one point, the game froze my entire computer and caused it to crash. I had to hard restart my PC. I mean, this game it's almost unplayable with how unstable it is. It was a struggle just to get the game to work so I could get enough footage for this video. It might crash your entire PC. So it's very, very unstable, and God only knows what it might end up doing to your computer or what it might end up doing to mine down the road. Next up is the tutorial. It's unfinished and it's incomplete. It leaves out a lot of information, and that little codex of theirs, their quote-unquote guide to being a criminal, as they call it, barely has any information at all, so it's pretty much worthless. I ended up finding out later that it's more like a quest guide kind of thing. I guess it's trying to teach you while giving you these really pathetic amounts of rewards that don't amount to anything. So it was really annoying in all aspects to me. But let me give you an example of what I mean by the game doesn't give you enough information. Like, I know how to get more employees, right? But what if I had forgotten, or what if I had missed that bit of text? There's literally no advice anywhere to be found about how to get new employees. And there's no tooltip bubbles that pop up with any of the information that you hover your mouse over. And with all the different little symbols everywhere, you kind of need to know what they are, or what they do, or what they mean. So it's really frustrating trying to figure out what button does what, or what icons mean what. You understand what I'm saying? So it just made the whole game, even though I played through the tutorial and I played it for an hour and a half, I still don't know everything about it. Then the game mechanics. I mean, the entire form of income, at least in the beginning of the game, is having your weed delivered via scooter. But it takes way too long. You'll end up sitting there for the longest time doing nothing, just waiting and watching and listening to them cut the weed, because the scooters take one box of weed every delivery, but your customers are requesting 8 or more. So they have to drive all the way across town to deliver one box over and over again. And you don't get paid until they've delivered all 8 boxes. So while you're sitting there watching your storage room get full of weed and your money slowly deplete, you're waiting for your scooters to deliver the damn goods. It takes so damn long, even on 3 times speed, that I just let my game run, and I was sitting here working on the review while this was happening. I even limited how many customers my scooters had to visit down so they're just to 1, so they just go to the 1 customer and then come back over and over again, and it was still taking too long to complete these orders. And last but not least is that price. You want to charge me $25 for this game? I mean, I'm sorry, but how greedy can you be? I have seen higher quality games with more depth and length and originality for less than this. Games that are released in early access that are not broken to the point of breaking my PC, selling for less. It's an unfinished, pixelated drug management simulator game, and you're charging me $25 for it. I'm sorry, but in my own personal opinion, that's too much money, especially for an early access investment copy. $15 maybe for this game. And when it's complete, with all the bugs taken out, and all the content actually included, then maybe up the price to $20. I mean, this is an investment, not a full game. We are paying them to play test their game. But you want me to pay $25 to play test your game for you? I mean, come on. It doesn't even look like it's worth $25, let alone play like it's worth it. And look, I'm sorry if I'm a little harsh, and I'm sorry if you don't agree, but it is all just my own personal opinion, and I think that price tag is a bit too much. So, that's all I got for the negatives. Honestly, I'm kind of torn on this game. It's got just as many pros as it does cons. Is it fun? At times, yeah, I'd say 50% of the time it's fun. Does it have depth and charm? Sure. Is it stable and secure? Hell no. So honestly, it's all in the middle. I think it's a perfectly average simulator game. If you're desperate for a new one that actually has some potential, it's not a bad investment. But I'd highly encourage everyone out there to give this game a few weeks or maybe a few months before you decide to purchase it. It's broken, it's missing a lot of content, it's very incomplete. And it's just, I don't feel like it's worth the money as it is right now. So give them a few months to iron out these game-breaking bugs and to add some more content, and then give the game a chance. I think it has potential, I really do, but as it is now, I'd recommend everyone wait and see how much the developers actually care before you decide to invest in their game. Alright everyone? If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to support my channel by hitting the like button or by subscribing, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure, and until then, I bid you all farewell.